Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to start past paper session. This is the very first session in which we are going to discuss October-November 2022's paper 1 and variant 1 as well. In question number 1, the temperature was -2 and it is decreasing and it will be reaching 8 degrees centigrade. It is actually decreases by 8. We have to tell after the change what will be the temperature, because in the start they have told that it's -2. So if we decrease 8 degrees, this means that -2 plus, in actual it is happening like this, -2 degrees, and it is decreasing negative sign and 8 as well. Okay, it is only having just 1 mark. This means that we have to do it directly. No need to go into further calculation. Decreases means we have to subtract it, and already the value is negative. It goes down as well. It will be -10 degrees centigrade. It will be the final answer. In the next question, on another day, the temperature increases from -5 till 3 degrees. This means that there is an increase. For having increase, we have to subtract the maximum value minus the minimum value, means 3 minus and -5 gives us 8. We can do it directly, means the difference between -5 and 3 degrees will be the increase in temperature. So no need of calculation in this. So if you have done it mentally, so that will be fine. It is of having just 1 mark. So write down 8 here. So what about the next one? This is the percentage question. How to solve percentage questions? Remove the percentage sign and divide by 100. And off means multiplication. Multiply it with 1.20. So it is paper 1 question. So calculators are not allowed. So we have to remove that decimal signs in order to simplify it quite easily. So we can do it like this: 45 over 100 times 120, means after the decimal point there are 2 digits. So we have to divide that number with 100. So we can simplify it further, means 0 will be cut with 0, and 2 5 times 10, and 2 6 times 12, and 5 and 45 can be cut. It will be easy. 5 1 times, and 5 9 times. 45 9 6 times is 54. 54 divided by 100. So any number divided by the multiples of 10 will be quite easy to solve without calculator. Means if there are 2 zeros in the denominator, we have to shift 2 decimals towards left. If it is 1 digit, 1 0 after that 1, this means that if we are dividing by 10, this means that we have to shift just 1 digit left. So this means that there are 2 zeros, so answer will be $0.54. So these are, you can say, the questions which are involving number system. So in number system, the questions might come like this. We have to solve some kind of percentages, some kind of, you can say, temperature changes, and like this. If you have any queries, you can write down in the chat if you don't understand this. So there is very next type of question we have to write down in the ascending order. Means if there are fractions, sometimes there might be, you can say, percentages are written, or we can say decimal numbers are written. So actually we need to convert it into the same type of, you can say, numbers. If there is a fraction, we have to convert all the numbers into fractions. If they're all already in the fractions, so no need to go into, you can say, change any number into decimal point, or you can say percentages. So if there are fractions, no need to go into that thing. So all of these numbers are basically the fractions. So you have to find the LCM of the denominator. So you can do it in rough work. So I'm just quickly writing down the LCM. LCM is 60. You can check it in the rough work. So if the LCM is 60, we have to make all of the denominators 60. So how to make this 12 60? So 12, how many times make 60? It will be 5. So 12 5 times 60. So 11 5 times. We have to multiply both of the numerators and denominator with the same number. So 55 over 60 will be the answer. You can say the equivalent fraction for 11 by 12. What about 4 by 5? So 5 how many times makes 60? It will be 12. So 12 4 times 48 and divided by 60. Similarly, we have to check 30 how many times makes 60? It will be 2 times. So multiply this 27 with 2 as well. It will be 54. So again, 15 will be multiplied with 4. It gives 60. So 13 multiplied by 4 as well. It will be 52 and divided by 60. So the questions is asking that we have to write down the numbers from the smallest to the biggest. So which one is smallest? So if the numerator is the smallest among all of the other numerators, we have to write down that fraction. You don't have to write down 48 by 60. Actually, the question is 4 by 5, not 48 by 60. So I have to write down the given number in the question. So 4 by 5 is giving the lesser equivalent fraction. So it will be written first. What about the next? After 48, there is another number 52. So what's the equivalent fraction? It is 13 over 15. It will come on the second spot. What about the third one? Third one will be 27 over 30, and the last one will be 11 over 12. So this is of 2 marks. So if you have done, I can say if you have written all of the numbers in the correct order, then you will get 2 marks. If any of the 2 numbers are written correctly, this means that you will get 1 mark. Otherwise, if you can say you have written down in the reverse order or any other thing, you will get nothing out of it. So this is question number 3. So I hope so. It's not that much difficult. So if you're facing any problem, you can just write down in the text box. So going quickly to the next question, question number 4. In question number 4, there is a question of bearing. So this means that from you can say point A and point B are given and scale is also given. Means on map, 1 centimeter is basically denoting in actual for 30 meters. So what we have to do in the question, you can say in part A, find the measurement, the actual distance of B from A. For finding the actual distance, we have to calculate the, you can say, distance on map for that particular, you can say, line means AB that is shown on the map. So we are quickly doing through the ruler. So if you check from point A till point B, so it is giving us, you can say, approximately 56.5, or we can say it will be in centimeters. It will be 5.65. It will be 5.65 in centimeters because 56.5 millimeters divided by 10 will be 5.65. So in this type of question, you will be having some kind of margin. So some students are finding 5.7, some will be 5.71, 5.72. Anything in this margin will be, you can say, tolerated, means you will get full marks out of it. So it is basically the distance on the map. It is not the actual. We have to find the actual. So how to find the actual distance? For finding the actual distance, we have to do the ratio method, means map ratio the actual thing. So we know the scale. So we can write down under map it's 1 centimeters and on actual it is 30 meters. So on map we are having 5.65 centimeters and we have to find on actual. So this is basically direct proportion questions. We can cross multiply. 1 times x will be x equals to 30 times 5.65. So if we multiply them correctly, we will be having answer, correct answer. So I'm just quickly multiplying 5.65 in rough work with, you can say 3. Okay. So multiplying with 3, we will put 0 at the end after it. So 3 times 15, 1 will be carried, 18, 6 3 times 18 plus 1 is 19, and 1 will be here, 15 plus 1 is 16. So how many digits after the decimal point? It is having 2 digits. So what we have to do, we have to write down, you can say decimal point in between 6 and 9, it will be 16.95 for, you can say multiplying with 3. But here it is 30, not 3. So we have to shift that decimal point towards right because we're going to multiply with a bigger number. So the answer will be 169.5. So there is a range of answers. If you have found the answer, you can say in between 165, say till 175, it will be fine. Any number in between that slot will be fine. So I hope so you all understood this kind of question. So I'm going to the next part of it, that is basically asking us to find the bearing from B from A. Bearing of B from A means we have to start from start from A and draw that bearing towards B. So starting from north of A and stopping at this line. So what will be the answer? It is basically, I think it's given 125 something, because I don't have protractor right now. You can do it directly. So the next thing is, means you have to position that C point. C is on bearing of 164 from A. What does this mean? This means that you have to take 164 degrees from A, means north of A. You have to start 164 degrees, means you have to start from here and goes here, means 164 degrees. And then what you have to do, you have to, you can say it is basically and on a bearing of 252 from B. So it is basically 252 means you have to start from north and clockwise, not anti-clockwise. You have to start clockwise, and 252 gives something in the third quadrant. It will be something like this. So it is, you can say we have to, you can say draw this line here and draw the other line from here, and drawing that line from here, the point where they meet will be point C, something like this. Okay, you can do it, you can say in the correct manner, correct way, means if C is positioned something, you can say near to it or closer to it, you will get full marks out of it. So I hope so you understand. If you have any queries right now, you can write down in the chat. I hope so you all understood this. So going quickly to the next question. So this is basically you have to write down 306.248 into correct to 2 decimal places. So how to write down answers in 2 decimal places? So check this, means after decimal point, 2 is the very first decimal place digit and 4 is the second. After 4, we have to check whether this number is equals to 5 or greater than 5. We have to add 1 into that 4. So it is basically greater than 5. So we have to add 1 into that 4. So answer will be 306.25. If you've written down the correct answer, you will get 1 marks. Otherwise, you will get nothing if you've written 306.24 or 21 or 2 and any number other than this will be incorrect. Okay. So the very next is correct to 2 significant figures. So for 2 significant figures, we have to start from the very left. 3 is the first significant figure and 0 will be the second because it is in between non-zero numbers. So we have to stop here, but we have to check whether the very next number is greater than 5 or equal to 5. We have to add 1 into that 0. So it is greater than 5, it is 6. So we have to add 1 into that 0, it will be 1. So we have to write on 3, 1 and other number is 0. After the decimal point, we can put decimal point and write down other zeros. It is not of any worth. So this means that if you have written down 310.000, it will be fine, but no need for writing the zeros after that decimal point. So we have to stop till 310. It will be the simplified answer. I hope so. It is quite easy. I can say it is not having any kind of problem for you. So going to the next type of questions for the numbers. So for the numbers, in the next question, we have to write down our answers in the estimated form. We have to write down answers in the estimated form. Write down, you can say, look at the question. You can say deeply that what is being asked in the question. So understand the command word. So the command is here is estimate. It is not of the actual value that you can use calculators or doing your work in rough work and then finding the answer. No need of it. Okay. So what you have to do, one significant figure. So you can see 9 is the very first significant figure. Other numbers, or you can say the very next number after the decimal point to 9, that will be 3. It is smaller than 5. So this means that it will be nothing will be added with 2. You can say in that 9, we can write down 9 squared. 9.00, it is simplified, but 9.00 is same as 9. So 9 squared minus, so what is the very first significant figure? That is 10. After that, it is 0, so nothing will be changed. It will be cube root of 100. So you have to remember first 10 cubes and cube roots. So 1000 is basically the cube of 10. So 9 squared is 81 and minus 10. So 81 minus 10 will be 71. So this is the estimated form of the this type of question. So going to the next type, it is, you can say, of index form. Index notation, we have to write down as a power, means we have to write down as an index. How many times 4 is repeating? So 4 is repeating 5 times, so we can write down 4 raised to the power 5. It is of 1 mark. So if you've written down the correct answer, you will get full marks. So square root and square are opposite things. So these two will be cut. So you can write down in the simplest manner, it will be 5. So square root is basically same as the power of 1 by 2. So I think all of you understand. So 1 by 2 power will be multiplied. So 1 by 2 times 2 will be 1. So this means that 5 is having power of 1. So no need to write down any number raised to power 1. Let's write down as it is. So the very next number means numbers power will be, you can say, used as 2 raised by 4, means 2 is being multiplied 4 times. You don't have to write down 2 times 4 is 8. No, it will be incorrect. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 will be 16. We have to multiply 2 4 times. It will be 16. What about x? So variables power is having 3 and whole power is 3. Powers power will be multiplied. So 3 times 4 gives us the result 12. So x raised to the power of 12. That is the simplified answer. So these are some type of questions of indices. So the next is basically a simple kind of questions in numbers. We have to make the denominator same. So 8 and 4's LCM is 8. So it is already 8. So 7 by 8 minus, we have to make it 8. So multiplying by 2. So 3 2 times 6 and 4 2 times 8. So 7 minus 1 will be 7 minus 6 will be 1 and 8 will be written one time in the denominator. So this is very easy way of doing. If you have done, you can say, if you written the correct answer, you will get 1 mark. So it is not requiring any kind of working. Okay. So in the next one, we have to write down as a mixed number. So you have to, you can say, see the question clearly. It is written on mixed number. So if you forgot to write down in mixed number, you will get nothing out of it. So convert this. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 by 5. So division sign will be changed into multiplication, and 7 will be written in the numerator and 4 will be written in the denominator. Now we can cut down 4 1 times and 4 2 times. So 7 2 times is 14 and 5 1 times is 5. So in the mixed fraction, we can write down it as 2 whole 4 by 5. So this is answer of it, 2 whole 4 over 5. And in the next question, in factorization's very first rule is to take something common if there is. So in this question, 3 and 12 is having highest common factor of 3 and a squared and a. So in variables, how we can factorize? We have to write down the minimum power that is common in all of the terms. So here it is a squared and a. Only a is taken as common. So if 3 is common, so 1 will be left, and a square, 1a is written outside, so we have to write on a here, plus 3, 4 times 12. So this is the answer. You will get 2 marks if you have written down the correct answer. So this is the factorized form. 3 is being multiplied with a and whole being multiplied with a plus 4. So going to the next type of the questions. This is basically Venn diagram. We have to shade. So A intersection B. Intersection B means the common region. The common region of A and B is this thing. So we have to shade. We will get 1 mark. So going to the next type of question. In next type of question, we have to write down the number of students who study English and German, but not Spanish. English and German. E is for English. G is for German. So E and G is having common region this. But they're saying that if he or she is not reading, you can say studying Spanish. So we have to exclude that too. So we are having this region. So this region is having 5 students. So I hope so you understand. If you have any queries, if you don't understand this thing, you can tell me in the chat. Means what is being asked actually. You have to read it not one time. You have to read it twice, thrice, and then you can understand what is being actually asked in the question. They're saying that who study English and German. English and German means the common region of English and German is this. But they're saying that, but not Spanish. So 2 will be excluded because it is including in Spanish. So going to the next question. In the next question, they're saying that N means number of elements, capital. So G union S whole complement means G and S will not be included. Union means all of the region of G and all of the region of S are included, but whole complement means it is excluding all of the region of G and S. So G and S region will be excluded, so it will be left with this 11, and outside of those circles will be 4. So 11 plus 4 results as 15. So it is having 1 mark, so no need to have any calculation. If you have done in the question mentally or just looking at the diagram, that will be fine. So I hope so all of you understood. If you have, if you don't understand, then do let me know. I can make some similar type of questions for you as a homework today. So going to the next question. In the next question, it is of standard form. For the standard form, you can say that any number, you can say 1 digit number, but it's non-zero number. So we have to shift that decimal point before that 2 and after that 3. So how many digits in between? So actually the decimal point is the end, is at very end. If you're shifting here to here, so how many digits in between? There are 7 zeros and 1 2 as well. So this means that 8 digits are including, and we are shifting from bigger number to smaller. So if we are moving from bigger number to smaller, what we have to do? We have to write down in the positive power. So how many powers we have? How many digits we have shifted? We have shifted 8 digits, so 10 raised to the power of 8. So this is the answer. So these type of questions are always be having a 1 mark. So if you have done in the correct manner, you have written down the correct number and in correct multiples of 10, means index notation of 10, you will get full marks. So what about the next question? In the next question, what we do? 2 and 4 can be simplified. 2 and 4 can be simplified. So 2 times 10 raised power minus 3 whole divided by 4 times 10 raised power of 9. So we can simplify 2 1 times and 2 times 4. 1 by 2 in normal decimal form is 1 by 2 is in decimal form. It is quite easy. You can remember very simple basic fractions conversion into decimals. So it is 0.5. So what about 10 powers? So it is basically rule of indices. We're shifting 9 in the numerator. The sign will be changed. So it will be minus 3 and minus 9. So simplify it. Minus 3, minus 9, both are negative. So it will be resulting in 10 raised power of minus 12. So what is the next thing? In the next thing, because there is 0 before that decimal point, so it is not in standard form. We have to shift our question into standard form. So for converting into standard form, we have to shift that decimal point to right. So it becomes 5.0, or we can say just 5. And we're shifting from smaller number to bigger. So 10's power will be subtracted. Means 10 raised power of minus 12. And we've shifted one digit towards right. So it will be -1 will be, you can say, subtracted in the power. So minus 12 and minus 1 will be resulting as minus 13. So the answer is 5 times 10 raised to the power of minus 13. This is the final answer of it. So going to the next question. In the next question, it is of the numbers. So most of the questions are relating to indices, standard forms, and numbers, and some kind of algebra. So you have to practice all of these concepts so that you can get a star in at least in P1. So you have to practice P1 in the beginning, and then after that, after attempting P1, you can understand what type of, you can say, topics are not being discussed in P1, so that you can prepare well in P2. So write 120 as a product of prime factors. You have to write down the product into prime factors. We have to divide, we have to do prime factorization dividing 120 with prime numbers. So it is even numbers. So we have to write down 2 to 6 times, and 2 0 times, again 2 to 3 times, 2 0 times. Again, it is going further. Means 2 15 times 30. Now it is coming into the table of prime number, that is 3 5 times, and then 5 1 times. So 120 is basically 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 and times 3. If you have written down this thing, you will get full marks. Otherwise, you can make it simpler, means writing down in index notation, means how many 2's are appearing here. So there are 3 2's. So we can write down 2 raised to the power of 3 and times 3 and times 5. Both answers are fine. So if you have done any of the method, any of the thing, you will get full marks out of it. So going to the next question. So 315 is basically 3 squared times 5 times 7. They have already told in the question. So we are using this information, and they are saying that we have to write down the smallest integer value of n, so that if we're multiplying that 315 with that n, gives us the square number. So there is a characteristic of a square number, that the index notations must have the even powers, means 3 raised power 2, it is fine. So no need to change that 3 raised power 2. So 5 is basically is having power 1. So how to make it even power? We have to multiply 1 5 into it, means it will be 5 squared. And what about 7? 7 is also odd, so I have to multiply 1 7 as well. So that n must be 5 times 7. Why? Because we are telling that that is the smallest integer value, and this is basically converting that index into even numbers, so that if you can say, simplifying any number means if you are applying any square root, so powers must be half. So in this case, all of the numbers are, you can say, except 3 squared, both of these are having odd powers. So we have to add 1 into these powers, means 5 squared, it becomes 7 squared. So which number we have added? That is 5 and 7. These two are added. So 5 times 7 gives the result 35. So 35 is the smallest integer value. If you multiply 315 with that number, we will be having square number. It is having 1 mark. So if you have done through any of the method, if you have written down the correct answer, you will get full marks. Otherwise, you will get nothing out of it. So going to the next question. So this is basic algebra. Open the bracket, simplify them. 3 times 2 is 6x. 3 times 1 is 3. Negative 2 will be multiplied with 4. It's negative 8x. Negative 2 will be multiplied with positive 3. It gives negative 6. So like terms will be added, subtracted. So it will be 6 minus 8 will be negative 2x. 3 and minus 6 will be minus 3. You can take negative as common, but if you have written down any one of them, this one or this one, both are fine. So it is having 2 marks. You will get full marks. One number is for opening the brackets. Next one is for the simplification. So very next question is basically write down the command words which is being asked. It is part B. So for part B and part A, the command is basically expand and simplify for both of them. Means we have to expand, open the brackets, so x times x will be x squared, x times minus 3 will be minus 3x, and plus 5 times x will be plus 5x. 5 times minus 3 will be minus 15. So adding and subtracting the like terms, so x squared minus 3x plus 5x will be positive 2x and minus 15. So it's the simplified answer. So x squared plus 2x minus 15 is the simplified answer. So now coming up to the next type of question, that is basically the sequences questions. So how to solve them? So we have given the nth term of a sequence. They're saying that we have to write down 3 terms of the sequence. So how to write down 3 terms? So the very first term must have n equals to 1. Second term will be having n equals to 2. Third will be having n equals to 3. So putting that n into that nth term. So 3 times 1 squared minus 1. What's the result? 1 squared is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So the next term will be 3 times 2 squared and then minus 1. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 1 is 11. What about the third one? 3 times 3 squared and minus 1. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Minus 1 will be 26. Write down all of these numbers here. You will get full marks because you have done the correct way for solving this question. So till now, if you have any queries, do tell me about sequences specifically. So I'm doing the next question, then we'll ask again. So in the next question, these are the first 5 terms of a sequence, and it is a different sequence. So look at the question. It is having a different sequence. You have to write down expression in terms of n for the nth term of this sequence. So what we have to do, just look at the numbers. What is being done here? Is it arithmetic progression or is it geometric progression? Arithmetic means something is being added, that is basically common difference that is being added in each and every number, or some kind of quadratic sequence is having some kind of square things will be added. But if you look at the very first number, it is 1. So shifting from 1 to 3, what is being done? From 3 to 9, what is being done? 9 to 27, what is being done? And 27 to 81, what's being done? It's quite easy. You can see that 1 is being multiplied, means multiplied, it gives 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27, and times 3 is 81. This means that if there is multiplication that is being involved in the progression in the sequence, it is geometric sequence. For geometric sequence, nth term rule is an equals to a and multiplied with r raised to the power of n minus 1. R is basically common ratio. Common ratio is basically the number that is being multiplied, the common number that is being multiplied, which is resulting in the next numbers, very next number. Means 3 is being multiplied, then 3, then 3, then 3. So R is basically 3 here. So A is the very first term. First term is 1. So an equals to 1 and multiplied with 3 raised to the power of n minus 1. So any number multiplied with 1 gives us the same number. So no need to write down 1. So we can write down 3 raised to the power of n minus 1. This is the nth term sequence. If you want to confirm your answer, you can put n equals to 1, n equals to 2, n equals to 3. You will get all of these numbers. So going to the next question. In the next question, it is basically of, you can say, geometric properties of circle. So they're saying that CDB is basically X. It is being given. It is basically given here, and the angle is being made with, you can say, 1 radius and 1 chord here. So what we have to do, we have to write down an expression in terms of X, because all of other values are not given. Expressing in terms of X. So what we have to do, COB. Where is COB line? O is the center. Remember, O is the center. Read that question clearly, you will understand O is the center and we have to find COB. So any angle that is at the center made by the radius is basically, I can say, double of the angle at that basically same segment at the opposite side of that, you can say, center thing. So if this is x, this must be 2x. The angle is twice the angle at the circumference property is being applied here. So the answer results as 2x. So the next question is OAB. Where is OAB lying? OAB is here. So for finding OAB answer, you can see OAB triangle is basically a triangle and it is a right angle triangle. How you can identify it's a right angle triangle? Because at point B, there is a tangent AB and there is a radius. So radius and tangent at the same point must be having right angle to each other. So this is right angle. So for a right angle triangle, if we know one of the angle, if we want to find the other angle, we can subtract simply that angle from 90 degrees. So OAB will be 90 minus 2x. So this is a simplified, you can say, answer. We can write down 90 minus 2x. So what about the next one? The next question is basically having CBO. What we have to find CBO. How we can find CBO? Where is CBO? C is lying here, B is here, and O. So we have to find this angle. So for finding this angle, you can see OB and OC both are radii. Both are radii. Both must have the same angles. Both must have the same angles. So what we have to do, so you can see if there are two angles. So I'm just applying OBC triangle. So I'm supposing this as Y. This is also Y because it's isosceles triangle. In isosceles triangle, you can say angles made at this particular base must be having the same angles because both of these sides are equal, both are radii. So if we say y plus 2x equals to 180, so y plus y plus 2x equals to 180. So what we have to do, y plus y is 2y, bringing that 2x onto the other side, it will be 180 minus 2x. So taking 2 as common, 90 minus 2x, and dividing that 2 onto the side because we want to find y, not 2y. So I've divided that 2 onto the other side and taking 2 common simultaneously. So this 2 and this 2 will be cut. Sorry, it will be just x, not 2x. It will be x because we have taken 2 as common. So answer will be 90 minus x. This is a simplified answer for angle CBO. So I hope so you understand this. If any queries, write down in the chat. Going to the similarity type of questions. So for similarity, you must remember the similarity of triangles and as well as ratio of the areas for these triangles. If there are some solids, what we have to do, we have to look at areas as well as volume. But in specific this case, we have to just look at areas because in the next part it is being asked here. So we have to find AC length. Where is AC length lying actually? So AC is basically here. So AC is this line. So AC must be having ratio with 7 because A, C, and D are lying on the straight line. A, B, and C are A, C, and D are lying on the straight line. So the triangle is having line till A till C must be having same as C till D that are having similarity with each other. Or we can say A, C, D are collinear points. If there are collinear points and making two triangles, So they must be having similarity with each other. So AC divided by 7. So you have to write on the corresponding sides of the triangle in the numerator. Okay, so you can say the other triangle, which two sides are given. You can see these two sides are given. So means we have to write down 12 for triangle ABC. So 12 here divided by the corresponding side for this will be 3. So simplifying it, so what will be the answer? AC equals to 12 divided by 3 times 7. So 3 and 12 can be carried 4 times 12. So 7 times 4 will be 28 centimeters will be the answer. So this is basically similarity concept. There are two similarity concepts I'm quickly explaining, but in this case, they haven't told that these are parallel. In actual, they must be having parallel lengths, means the lengths which are being made here, this line must be having correspondence with this line, and these two must be parallel as well by the property of similarity. And this length of this triangle must be having similarity with this, means correspondence with this, and these two must be having correspondence as well. So this is basically similarity rule. I will explain in some other video. So do follow for these similarity concepts. So the next question is basically having area of triangle. First triangle's area is given, and we have to find the area of triangle of the other triangle DEC. Means if we're supposing this as A1, it is given 160, and A2 is unknown. We have to find A2. We can take any of the two sides that are given. In actual, the formula for the, you can say, ratio of the areas must be equals to ratios of the lengths to the square of it. So we can take any of the lengths that are given. So already 12 and 3 are given. We can apply these two lengths. No need to go to any other length. We can apply AC's length, that is 7. We have already found it's 28. It's 28 and 7. We can apply this, but I'm now applying 12 and 3. Both will give you the same results. So A1 is given. I'm writing down A1 over A2 equals to L1 over L2. So A1 is 160 divided by A2. We have to calculate. L1 must be the very first, you can say, diagrams, you can say length. Means if we're supposing ABC as the first triangle, so the length of it must be L1. So 12 and L2 is 3. So 12 by 3 is 4. You can simplify because both are having the same power. We can cut down in the brackets. No, you don't have to confuse in it. Okay. So 160 equals to over A2 equals to 4 squared is 16. So now cross multiply. So actually 16 will come here and A2 will go there. So it is quite easy that we can solve it. 16 1 times and 16 10 times 160. So the answer will be 10, means 10 centimeters square for the area of the triangle DEC. I hope so you understand till now. If you have any queries, write down in the chat. I'm just waiting for your replies. So the next question is having a gradient of that line. For having the gradient of line, the formula is m equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So look at the numbers, means what are the marks that are having for this question. So you can see it is having 1 mark. So if you have done mentally, that will be fine. No need to require any kind of working for it. So I'm just doing for you people that you can understand it quite easily. If we're taking any of the points that are clear on x-axis and y-axis both, if I'm taking as the first point, it is 1, 3, and it is taken as 2 and 5. So I'm taking 2 and 5 as the second point. So y coordinate of it will be 5 minus 3 or divided by 2 minus 1. So answer will be 2 by 1. 2 by 1 is 2. You can directly see through the diagram as well. If we're shifting from 1 till 2, is the run is 1. So how much rise? Rise is 2. So rise is 2. 2 by 1 is 2. So you can do it mentally as well. No need to write down these formula for 1 mark question. You can do it mentally as well. So going to the next question, and we have to write down the shaded, you can say, regions inequalities that are basically, you can say, satisfying the above region. So first of all, look at the lines that are parallel to x-axis and parallel to y-axis. So what is the equation of this line? The equation of this line will be y equals to 5. So on y-axis, if the region is below that region, the shaded part is below and it is shaded as well. So if it is shaded, we have to apply equals to as well in the inequality sign. So if we have, you can say the region is below, this means that we have to apply smaller than and equals to as well. So what about this line? For this line, the equation is x equals to 1. What about the inequality? The region is lying right towards it. So the values of x are increasing towards right. So we have to write down inequality and equals to sign. Why equals to sign? Because the region is shaded. So in some questions, if region is not shaded, we don't have to apply that equals to sign under that inequality. So the answer is x is greater than or equals to 1. So we have found the two inequalities. What about the third one? So for the third one, you can see from the diagram, the y-intercept is clearly shown, means y-intercept is basically, you can apply y equals to mx plus c. So c is that thing on which the graph is cutting the y-axis. The straight line is cutting the y-axis. That is positive 1. What about gradient? We have already found the gradient, that is 2. So simply replace that gradient with 2 and c with 1. So this is a line. So we have found the line. What's the inequality? So you can see, you can take any point on that line and draw a perpendicular line above and below it and check whether the region is above it. You have to apply greater than sign here and equals to as well, because the region is shaded. So 2x plus 1. So y is greater than equals to 2x plus 1. This is the third inequality. If you have written down all of these inequalities correctly, you will get 3 marks. Working is not necessarily required for this question if it is having 3 marks. So you have to write down all of the answers correctly here. So y is smaller than equals to 5, x is greater than equals to 1, and what about the last one? The last one is y is greater than or equals to 2x plus 1. So this is basically, you will get all of 3 marks if you have written down all of these inequalities correctly. If any mistake is being done here, you will be losing some kind of marks. So going to the next question. In the next question, it's speed time graph. For speed time graph, what is being actually asked? Most of the questions required acceleration, distance, average speed, these type of question, and some unknown that is being mentioned in the graph as well. So for this type of question, what is being asked, you can see first 2 minutes, but on x-axis you can see it is given in seconds. We have to convert. So 2 minutes are basically 120 seconds. So so we have to start from 0 and stop till 120. And what is the you can say speed? That is 20. So why we have converted in seconds? Because speed is giving us meters per second. So we need to have the time in seconds as well. So we have converted that 2 minutes into 120 seconds. So A is equals to 20 divided by 120. So cut down these two zeros, 1 and 6. Either you can write down this thing in the fraction form, or you can write down in the decimal form. Both are fine. If you want to write down in decimal form, so what will be the answer? You can check, answer will be 0.166, and it is a recurring decimal. You can check it. The next question is average speed. What does average speed means? Average speed means we have to divide total distance by total time. We have to divide total distance by total time, because we are doing average of the speed, because in some part of the journey, it can be having a speed, it is having a maximum speed, and at some point it is having minimum speed, and in some places it is on the average side. But for the whole journey, we have to use this formula for average speed. Total distance over total time. What's the total distance? For the total distance, we have to apply the area under the curve. So it is a complete trapezium. So for complete trapezium, the formula is 1 over 2 sum of parallel sides times the perpendicular height between those two parallel lines. So you can say one length is 600. So I'm applying directly here 1 by 2. One parallel length is 600, and the other one is we can see it is 480. Subtract 120 from 480, that results 360. So the other parallel line is 360. And what's the perpendicular height? That is 20. You can see here it is 20. Maximum speed, that is 20. So what about the time? Time is 600 seconds. So total time is 600. So what we have to do, we have to just simplify it like this. 2 can be cut with this 20, it results 10, and 6 and 0, 600 1 0 will be cut with this 10. 600 plus 360, answer is 960, divided by that 60, 0 will be cut with 0. So 6 and 96, highest common factor is 16. So 16 meter per second is the average speed for the whole journey. So it is having of 3 marks. If you have written down the correct formula, correct distance calculation, and then correct simplification, you will get all of 3 marks. So going to the next part. In the next question, it is basically of having variations. So B is directly proportional to square of A. Read the question again and again. So because most of the time some students are missing that square, or in direct proportion, they can have, I can say, written down incorrect way, that they can write down in inverse form. So you can say read the questions again and again. So replace that sign with K, and equals to sign K squared. Replace that B with 18 equals to K times, what about A? The value of A is 3. 3 squared is 9. 9 by 18 results in 2. So you can do it directly. I've done it directly. No need to show each and every working for 2 marks question. If you found like this, it will be fine. Replacing here, B equals to 2A squared. So this is the equation connecting B and A. So replacing that A with 5, and then we will be having value of B. So it is equals to 2 times 5 squared. 5 squared is 25. 25 times 2 results in 50. So 50 is the final answer for B. So variations questions are mostly coming in paper 1. So this is basically congruency test questions. So this is a equilateral triangle. So see, it is ABD is an equilateral triangle, and we have to write down the reasons for each statement that why ADC is congruent to triangle ABC. So by looking at both of these triangles, this is first triangle, this is other, both are actually, if you look straight away on the figure, both are reflection of each other, mirror image of each other. But how you can write down in terms of statements, how you can explain? Look at this right angle triangle. This is a right angle triangle. So this line is a straight line. So it must be having right angle here as well. So if there is a right angle triangle in there is a right angle in any triangle, you can apply this property RHS. Remember the property means if there is a right angle, this is fine. What about H? H is the hypotenuse. So okay, H is the hypotenuse, and S is any side, any other side. So I'm just writing down the property R, right angle. So right angle is basically ACD is equals to ACB, means angle A uh, ACD equals to ACB. So this is basically right angle property. The next one is hypotenuse. So look at the diagram, whether the hypotenuse means hypotenuse is a side that is opposite to the right angle. So this side is equal to this side. Yes, because these are the sides of equilateral triangle. So we can write down AD equals to AB, AD equals to AD length equals to AB. Why? Because equal sides of equilateral triangle. We can write down equal sides of equilateral triangle. Equal sides for equilateral triangle. So we have shown one of the, you can say, things that right angle and hypotenuse we have done. What about the other side? For the other side, you can see AC is common in both of the triangles, because if the length is common, this means that both are equal. It's common. So AC equals to AC. We can write down the reason as it is common side. So the third side is also proved here. So you can see through RHS, triangle ADC is congruent to triangle ABC. Why we have applied RHS? Because one right angle is already shown. That's why. So if you have written down all of the reasoning correctly, means in your words as well, it doesn't matter that if wordings are changed or one, you can say, reason is written above than the other, it will be fine. It doesn't matter. So going to next question, this is basically histogram question. So in histogram question, they will actually say that you have to find the value of A. How you can find the value of A? Remember the formula that frequency must be equals to frequency density multiply the class interval. So A is basically the frequency. A is basically the frequency. So A must be equals to frequency density. So frequency density, what we have to do, it is basically the region is 15 till 20. 15 till 20 is this. So what is frequency density? Frequency density for it is 6 times the interval. Interval is 15 times 15 till 20 will be 5. So 6 times 5 is 30. So you can do it in mental maths. So no need to write on any of the working, because it is having one number. You can do it directly as well. So the next is we have to complete the histogram. How we can complete it? So by looking at the table, so how many things are completed till 15 till 20 is done. So we have to do 20 till 30. So the frequency density, we have to calculate 40 divided by 10, because interval is 10. Applying this formula, the same formula for finding frequency density, 40 by 10 is 4. So 15 till 30 will be done till 4. So this is 20 till 30. What about the next one? 30 till 50. So frequency is 20. 20 divided by 20, because interval is 20 as well. So answer is 1. So we have to move till 1 here. So till 50. So shade all of these. So this is the complete diagram for this histogram. What about the next question? For the next question, we have to shift onto the other side. So this is basically matrices question. So how we can solve matrix question? Actually, the statement is given A plus 2B's sum is given. We have to find B. So replacing the A matrix here. So what is the result here? 3, 1, -4 and 2, and then plus 2B equals to 1, 5, 10, and 12. Bringing that matrix onto the other side. So 1 minus 3. I'm doing it directly. You can do it directly. No need to do into go into any other method, because all of the values will be changed. This 3 will be becomes negative. This 1 becomes negative as well. 5 minus 1, and 10 minus 4 will be positive 4. What about next? 12 minus 2. So I'm just writing them here. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. It is 4, 14, and 10. So 2b, actually we have to find b because 2 is a scalar number. Scalar number is being divided with each and every number onto the other matrix. So b must be equals to minus 2 divided by 2 gives minus 1. 4 divided by 2 will be 2. 14 divided by 2 will be 7. 10 divided by 2 will be 5. So this is the final result. If you have done it correctly, you will not lose any of the marks. So in the next question, we have to find inverse. How to find inverse? Inverse is basically a mod multiplied with adjoint of that a. So what is a mod? So a mod can be done means the diagonal numbers will be multiplied, means 3 times 2 will be multiplied. The answer is 6. Negative, and negative 4 will be multiplied with 1. It results negative 4. So this negative is written in the formula for the determinant, and this is the value of the second term. So minus minus becomes positive. So 6 plus 4 is 10. So a mod is 10. What about adjoint? We can do it in simultaneously in the next process, means a inverse equals to 1 over 10. A determinant is 10. What about adjoint? For adjoint, change the values of these diagonals. So 2 will be written in place of 3. 3 will be written in place of 2. So 2 and 3 are replacing each other's positions. What about the other diagonal? For other diagonal, we have to change the signs. This 4 will become positive, sign will be changed, and 1 will become negative. So it is negative 1, it is positive 4. So this is a simplified answer. No need to divide each and every number for inverse thing. Means if determinant is basically written like this, it will be fine. So we can write down 1 by 10 here, and 2 minus 1, 4, and 3. It will be fine. So I hope so you understand all of these till now. Going to the next question. In the next question, we have to simplify our answers in terms of whole squared thing, that x plus a whole squared plus b, and we have to just write down the values of a and b. It is having 2 marks. If you have written down the values of a and b correctly, you will be having full marks. So if a squared means in the standard form of quadratic equation, the very first term's coefficient is 1. So I'm just quickly telling you that how to do in just 2 steps. For solving in 2 steps, what we have to do, if first term is just x squared, this is the thing you have to remember. So you have to divide that 6 with 2. So what's the result? 6 by 2 is 3. So you can write down x minus 3 whole squared. Okay, so this thing is subtracted other than this whole squared thing, means minus 3 and with square as well. And write down this minus 7 here. So now simplify it. X minus 3 whole squared. So minus and 3 squared is 9. So minus 9 and minus 7 is minus 16. So by comparing these two results, in actual, these two are positive. So comparing plus a with minus 3, answer is minus 3. And what would be positive b will be compared with minus 16, the same position. So it will be minus 16. So why I have subtracted minus 3 squared, I will let you know in some other video. Just remember that when we will take the whole square, that b value will be subtracted, b squared value will be subtracted other than the brackets. So hence we have to solve this. This is basically the thing we have simplified in the previous part. So this thing will be applied here. So x minus 3 whole squared minus 16 equals to 0. So bringing that 16 onto the other side, so the value will become positive 16. So there is a whole square. We have to take square root. So applying square root on both sides. Applying square root on both sides. So it must have 2 values onto the right hand side, plus and minus. So 16 is basically a perfect square. So the result is plus minus 4. So 1 times we have to do with plus and 1 times we have to do with negative. So x minus 3 equals to 4, or x minus 3 equals to negative 4. So bringing that 3 onto the side, it gives 7. And what about this? Bringing that 3 on the side, minus 4 plus 3 is minus 1. So these two are the answers. So it is 7 and it is minus 1. If we have done, we can say the completing square method, then you can say the completing square in the previous part, it will be applied here for solving. So shifting towards the last type of the questions. Yes, last question. So for the last question, what we have to do, it's basically mensuration type of questions. Volume of the cone is, the formulas are given normally. But remember, the base area of cone are not usually given. You must have remember the base is a circular. The base is a circular. It must have the area of the circle. So now coming up to the question, the statements that are being, you can say, told in the questions, a solid cone has a radius y centimeters. The slant height of the cone is 25% larger than the radius of the cone. What does this mean? 25% larger. So if it is y, so we can write down as it as y plus 0.25 y. Radius plus 25% of that radius. So it is basically the slant height. It is 1.25 y. This is slant height. It is represented as L. So the radius is represented as Y for it. So what's being asked in the next, you can say, statement for the sphere. A solid sphere has a radius R. The surface area of the sphere is equals to the total surface area of the cone. What does this mean? The surface area of the sphere. Surface area of sphere is given 4 pi r square. I'm just writing down the normal formula. And the total surface area formula is simplified as pi r times r plus L. This is a simplified total surface areas formula of the cone. So replace that r with capital R because the solid sphere's radius is capital R. So I can write down as r squared pi. What is small r for the cone? The cone's radius is represented in terms of y will be y. And what about r? R is again y plus it results 1.25 y. So 4 pi r squared equals to pi, and we can y is being multiplied here. Y will be multiplied by y squared. Y times y will be y squared. We can add, you can say, because these were like terms we haven't added, but we can add in the previous part as well. This pi can be cut. So 4r squared equals to y squared plus 1.25 y squared will give results give us 2.25 y squared. So what we have to do to make it simplify, that we have to make y as the subject. So dividing 2.25 onto the other side, so it is y squared. So in actual, what we have to do, we have to just, you can say, yes, we can do, you can say, removing that decimal point and multiplying 100 in the numerator. It will be 400 r squared and 225 y squared. So now taking the square root on both sides, so it is 400. 400s basically square root. What's the answer of 400 square root? 400 square root will be 20. So 20 r divided by 15. So 225 is basically square of 15. So you must remember first 20 squares in order to solve this. So y equals to 20 r over 15. 15 and 20 can be simplified 5 4 times, 5 3 times. So this is the simplified answer that is being required. 4 by 3 r or 4 r by 3, the same thing. So this is part A. So moving quickly towards the other part, if you have any queries related to this, do let me know as well. After this, finding the volume of the cone in terms of R. Actually, the formula is basically V equals to 1/3 pi R square h. So we know r is basically y, and it is given as 4 by 3 r, but h is not given in terms of r. So actually for the cone, it must be having a right angle triangle with height, its slant height, and radius. So h is basically equals to, by Pythagoras theorem, it is equals to L squared minus R squared. So what is L in terms of R? We can say that it is L equals to 1.25 times Y. Replacing the values of Y here, so L equals to 1.25 times 4 by 3 R. So we have shifted L in terms of R. So converting this decimal point into fraction, it is 125 by 100 times 4R divided by 3. For 1 times, it will be cut with 100. For 25 times, 25, 1, and 25, 5 times. So L equals to 5 over 3R. So replacing L with 5 by 3R, and we already know R is basically in terms of Y, and Y is already given, that is 4 by 3R, and it is whole squared. So opening the brackets, so 5 squared is 25 over 9R squared minus 4 squared is 16, and 3 squared is again 9, and R squared. Simplify them and just subtract the numerators. 25 minus 9 gives us 25 minus 9 results 25 minus 16 results in 9. 9R square over 9, 9 and 9 will be cut. So h must be equals to square root of r squared must be resulting in r. So h is basically r here, replacing here v equals to 1 over 3 pi. What is r? R is basically y, and we have done in terms of capital R, that is 4 by 3 r whole squared. What is h? H is r. So 4 squared is 16. 16 pi. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. And r squared and r multiplied, that results in r cube. So this is a volume in terms of r. We have simplified it. This is all from this paper of, we can say, October, November 2022, paper 1-1. If you have any queries, just write down in that chat box or in the comment section of the video. So kindly do subscribe my channel and follow as well. So goodbye from now.